Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ocean Ridge Planning and Zoning meeting, March 17, 2026. Roll call, please, Kelly.
Member Corrala is absent with notice. Member DeBaptiste,
Present.
Member Siggety,
Present.
Vice Chair Khalil, and Chair Ferber.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. States to the Republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any additions, deletions, modifications of the agenda here this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. This is general public comment. Public comment? Any public comment? Okay, we're going to close the floor to public comment. Approval of the minutes, February 17. Has everyone had a chance to review this?
I make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, let's go with our first quasi judicial hearing, development plan review of 20 Hudson Avenue. Let's at this time, any ex parte communication shall either be disclosed by identifying the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, or any correspondence be provided to the town clerk and made part of the public record. In addition, each member of the commission may identify the existence of any investigations or site visits he or she has conducted, or any expert opinions received, and disclose any conflicts of interest on this matter. Anything, gentlemen? Okay, great. Okay. Kelly, town clerk, please swear those in who wish to give testimony.
Will anyone wishing to speak on this item for 20 Hudson, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, when you are called forward, please state your name and address clearly for the record and whether or not you have been sworn in, and please speak directly into the microphone.
Thank you, Kelly. Town planner, Corey.
Good morning, Chair, Vice
Yep.
Chair, board members, Corey O'Gorman, Town Planner. This is development plan review for 20 Hudson Avenue. The staff has completed their review for consistency with the town codes, found the project to be consistent and compliant with various town codes, is recommending approval subject to conditions and subject to review by the Planning and Zoning Board for compliance with the requirements under development plan review section of the code. There is one very minor condition in the plan review report from my review, which is regarding artificial turf, which is an ordinance amendment that's currently processing through the town and may not be applicable, particularly given the statutory requirements or the recent changes at the state level. But we've kept that condition just because the town has not completed their adoption of code revisions. Once again, recommending approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
Okay, any questions? Corey.
Thank you.
Okay, Corey, very straightforward. Thank you very much. Our town engineer, Orlando Rubio, please.
Morning, I'm Orlando Rubio from Craig Smith and Associates. I reviewed the responses to the previous engineer's comments, and they've been addressed, and everything else will be conditionally approved and be reviewed during the building permit review process.
Okay, so that you looked at the ingenuity report, Orlando,
Yes.
and all these conditions, this is prior to you, of course, but it was put together. All these conditions have been met.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And anything else on your end?
Nope.
Right? The techno drainage calcs. The right of way includes a drainage system due to the issues with drainage on the west end of Hudson Avenue. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, there was some back and forth with how they're gonna put their drainage. So when so we've agreed to revisit that once they come back in, and we coordinate that with Public Works and make something make the plans final that everyone can live with. There's an existing drainage system there, and they're putting something else in there, and we just got to work that out once they're ready and for permits.
Okay. Because we've heard in the past that Hudson has a drainage problem, right? And so in certain areas of it, right? I don't know if all around, but Hudson, if I'm correct, right? And we heard that before, Ken, Hudson.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money trying to fix it.
Yeah, got it. Okay,
Noted.
okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Orlando? Great, thank you. Thank you. Zoning official Manny?
Good morning, board members.
Morning.
The applicant's square footage and percentages do meet the required zoning. And I confirmed that with my own numbers. So at this time, the applicant does meet everything that is required by our zoning code.
Okay, great. Thank you, Manny. Appreciate that. Okay, applicant. Good morning. Yes,
I am Trisha Russell. I have been sworn in by Miss Kelly. I'm the designer of the house. I'm one of the developers. I'm also one of the owners. I'm here on behalf of all of the other owners today who cannot be here. One of my business partners, and actually my husband, was supposed to be leading this presentation today. Unfortunately, he came down with his first of gout, so he can't walk and he's in a lot of pain, to say the least. So I'll do the best I can. Please bear with me. I do also have Brian Becker here for civil to help with anything that is way above my pay grade or knowledge. But thank you all for today.
sure.
So with 20 Hudson, we were really going with a transitional contemporary with a lot of coastal influences, if you can look at the photo. So the color palette and the landscaping and the materials, I chose to go with a cream color to really emulate the beach. Since we're so close to the beach, and we're doing a natural limestone cladding to emulate stones and rocks from the outside, which will be vertical to the right of the front door. And then on the garage doors, we're doing wood cladding to bring an additional warmth to the house to blend in with the natural outdoors, trees. And then I also added bougainvillea arches above both of the garage doors to really add a little bit of vibrancy and pop of color that you see often when you're walking down the beach. So we really wanted to be a coastal contemporary beach house, which I think hopefully we did a pretty good job here. If you go to the next slide, please. Here, this slide is a high level emulating all of the features we will be using. Instead of going with a marble driveway or something very bold, we're going with a very light gray, delicate tile to also, again, emulate beach pathways when you're walking along the beach. If you go to the next slide, please. This is just showing where the site location is. One thing that I would really like to note just from the beginning is I went around to our initial neighbors in the cul-de-sac of the property. And we already have 7 letters of signed support, which is really exciting. And I also gathered feedback to see if they liked the design, the colors, the landscaping, if there's anything that else they'd want to change. Go to the next slide, please, Kelly. And overall, they were very happy. As you can see, the size of the house is not overpowering. It is actually not the tallest house on the street. There are 4 houses on the street that are taller than ours. And one thing that we decided to do was a lot of people were unhappy with the new house being built on Hudson, which is not shown here at 3 Hudson, which is over 33 feet tall. We decided to take advantage of Ocean Ridge, allowing the parapet flat roof wall again. So our house is only around 26 feet tall, so it does not tower over a lot of the other homes, which a lot of the neighbors were very grateful for. So that's just one thing I would like to highlight because that was a concern with some of the neighbors and on the street, not knowing how large the house would be. So we're not the tallest and we are also not the largest. So I just would like to high level that. One other thing that we're going to be doing in the front of the street, when we go through final approval, is after speaking to some of the neighbors, we're going to be adding some additional buttonwoods in the front of the house to add additional street trees. This was not in the plans. This has not been approved. It would be approved in final submission. Am I allowed to hand out the photo? Oh, you have it? You're wonderful. So I added 13 additional street trees at the very front. They are still within our property line, but it's to, just add more privacy only for the future buyers, but also for Mark and Carolyn across the street from us who really like that idea. And they said they would support us if we were allowed to do this. And we also have it on other sides as well. So eventually they'll be blocked in. So everyone has a lot of privacy. I think it adds additional warmth. And again, I think it will fit really well with the street. Let's see, what else do I have? That's pretty much it. I think we're really trying to ask for approval with or without any conditions to proceed to the permitting stage. The biggest concern that our neighbors had was that they would love construction to start while they're away during the summer. So I know that's something that's really important to a lot of them. We have as Manny said, and as Corey said, that we are within all of the town guidelines. And that's pretty much at a high level. How can I help or answer any questions?
Thank you. Questions?
No,
Mhm.
assisted you guys. I didn't know you were part owner. It's Austin.
Yes, yeah, husband,
So-
wife, part owner.
Asian.
Can you use your microphone?
Francis Voucher and somebody else.
Yes, those are also business partners of ours for the property. They're the larger owners and we are the lesser owners. Yes.
Closure.
Okay. I remember you. I remember, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Any other comments to the,
Yeah, could you tell me what is the height of the structure?
It's around 26 feet tall.
I'm looking at a plan that says top of parapet 36 feet 4 inches. And that's on Vimex Designs sheet A109.
Sure. I'm Brian Beckers and Buyer Design. I did swear. I believe the floor on this is 10 feet in ABB.
It is.
So 36 you're seeing is 36 feet.
Probably, or it is.
It
I
is.
don't have that document from me. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I have that document. Thank you for your patience.
Would be
Oh, I have that one too.
cross section.
Okay.
No, the cross section of the tilt.
Yeah, I have that. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Rush.
In the meantime, on the sides of the house, we added a lot of additional windows to make sure that it wasn't so plain. And then we added a lot of stucco bands on both the left and the right side because I know that is a requirement of the town, so it doesn't look so plain. So that's just the. Is it on this one?
While you're looking for that, can you also explain how you're capturing retainage?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that's a very low street. Your site's built up. It's going to be
we
10
are-
feet finished floor. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're actually exceeding the town requirement of retention. There's a wall that goes around that will absolutely prevent people across the front. You can see it has the walls. We have the trench drains in the driveways. We have 2 exfiltration systems, one in the front for the lower portion, one in the back for the higher portion. So an underground exfiltration.
And I read, but I couldn't tell how high is the retaining wall. The fence was 3 feet, I think, but I didn't see the height of the retaining.
think the max height, let's see. I believe our max height is 6 feet. The 5 feet, it's, yeah, our height is 5 feet over here.
Okay,
And it does go around the sides and the entire back of the property.
and then,
Oh, and one thing I think is important to note is that we are not building on the entire lot, but we are retaining on the amount of water that would be required if we were maximizing the lot out. Just something I'd like to make
Yeah, the
aware.
undeveloped western portion, we
Yes.
included that in our calculations, even though it's not contributing to our drainage, it's all in the back undeveloped portion of the property. So the height part of the wall, also the 5 to 6 feet is way back in the near the undeveloped portion, that's not up front, it's much shorter.
air conditioning compressors, I'm assuming you're gonna have a generator.
We're gonna be generator ready. If the future buyer does want a generator, then we will add it. And we have 4 air conditioners in the house.
Okay, and then pool equipment.
The full equipment, yes.
At what height will the highest one of those be from grade?
I would have to resort back to my husband for that, who did that, but what I can say is that we have a lot of hedging on both sides of the property, closures on the entire side to fully provide it, so you will not see it from either side of the street.
Great, so we'll be assured it'll be
One-
screened.
100%. Everything's screened, everything fenced, because I know equipment is not nice to look at, so.
Just as a point of curiosity, do you own or any of your partners own the other 2 vacant lots? One across the street and one next to you?
No, we have met the new owner of the lot next to us, and we are in talks with him for when, during his design, to do a similar retention wall like we're doing, to try to really help hold in as much water as possible. So he is aware of the flooding concerns, and he is looking into that as well. The neighbors across the street, I do not know, but we don't own either.
And so back to the original question.
I don't think we have that sheet here.
Yeah, sure.
And Mr. Chairman, I can help with some of that in
Yeah.
the site data table. It does indicate that the base flood is at 9, the finished floor is at 10. And the overall height of the building to the tie beam on the second floor is 24.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Corey. That's all I have.
It's a great set of renderings that you're presented to us, showing the neighbors, showing the house, showing the, it's really well done.
Thank you very much.
I would like to contribute to what the comment said about the abnormal drainage. That was a question earlier. That's just for the right of way. As you know, Hudson floods is because it's so low. And if you swale the driveways there, they're always wet, always. So several homes on the block already have a couple of different design approaches. One with trench, well, a couple of, I think, with trench drains through the driveway instead of swaling the driveway. And other ones with a bubble or drainage system to allow the water to pass through the driveway. And right now, which is a condition to work out the details of it during permit, we're using the bubbler system to allow the water to get past the driveway. I spoke to the plan reviewer, and once he understand what the concept was, he verbally didn't object, but obviously if there anything comes up during permit design, address that, but it wasn't anything on site. We're actually, like I said, before, we're exceeding what we're retaining, just how we're getting the water past. And there are upstream and downstream inlets for the existing drain system as well, so water can go as well. Thank you.
Okay. Neil, anything else?
I concur with.
Yeah.
Good presentation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice. I just saw on your side renderings, 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. Just making sure, I think earlier we had a comment about screening, you've got large, these are large walls that are with a few windows in them, but and I don't really see any vertical landscaping, but I assume there you have some planned.
Yeah, so I'm going to add an additional 3 to 4 Sylvester palms or a similar type that add lots of height with extensive palm branches on the side.
Right.
As you can see, they're in the updated rendering here so-
Yeah, okay.
on both sides. And so we would ask for, conditional approval, and that would be approved in the final plans.
Okay, I get that, right? And the band that you have that continues from the division between the first and second levels, right? That's going to continue around. Is that band, does that project out or is that flush?
So that band in front, are you talking about the eyebrows in front of the garage?
Backside, on the backside, on the sides and back.
Going the photo. If you go up.
It was actually in our packet. Yeah, there,
Look it
there.
up.
See the side band?
I don't know. When you-
Down, upper right, corner, yes, it goes, it divides the.
Does that stick out? No, on this side.
Does that-
Correct.
okay.
No, that does not stick out. No.
Because you have some projecting pieces, on the front of the part.
So the part that wraps around the front of the garage, that projects out slightly, but is still within the allowed amount.
Yes.
But the discoloration on the side that is emulating stucco bands, that does not stick out.
Just curious.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it. Okay, anything else you want to talk about?
That's it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just want to point out that the side elevation for the west side differs from the plans, and the plans appear to comply with the town's code in terms of having the articulation along with the band that you were just talking about.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Great.
Thank you.
Appreciate. Like to open up to public comment, please. Floor to public comment. Please. Please put your name, address.
My name is Patrick Doyle. I live at 18 Hudson Avenue, the site right next door. Morning, Ken. How you doing? So, I'm happy with everything that they've shown, beautiful house and all that. But I have a couple of concerns that I haven't been able to, and I was hoping to get some answers from today, being the property that is most affected by this right next door, and living next to this. You know, we've seen a lot of things go on. I have a couple of comments, but more questions. My question is, you know, is this fitting within all our town setback codes and all that? I'm sure it has. I've heard some full presentation here. It seems like it's meeting and there's no variances that are being applied for here in terms of setbacks in particular.
That's our understanding. Yes, sir.
Okay, and as long as that's cool, I'm good with this. I would also like to bring about one concern I had. I have not once had any communication, except for early on when they started ripping out the mangroves, from the owners of this property. They say they go around and they're handing out questionnaires and getting approvals like they should. But somehow I was mysteriously left off those lists, never asked a single question about the impact of this project. Given that I'm the most direct impact, there's no house to the west of them. I'm the house directly east of them. I've had no how shall I say, any communication whatsoever when, from the beginning of the project, when they were environmental impact studies. And I've lived there for 28 years, as you can probably attest, in that same house. So I'm very well aware how that is the lowest spot on the whole street. I'm extremely aware of the flooding issues, having lived there for so long. So I have a major concern, and I think a couple of my neighbors, especially the one right across the street, Mark, who will speak later, about the drainage, number one, and that the setbacks are going to be adhered to, and the height restrictions and the ratios between the first floor and the second floor are also going to be adhered to. I don't want to have a giant two-story wall blocking all the sunshine that I'm currently getting. And thank you for the sunshine. It's getting that out of there. But yeah, so my primary concern is, one, are they staying within all the variances that are set by this town? We have these rules for a reason. I see a lot of houses going up with two-story vertical walls that I thought they were supposed to be inside, but that's just my naive, I'm not, you know, a planner or whatnot, so I'm not sure what that rule is exactly. And two, the setbacks are being taken care of, and the drainage issue, where those mangroves actually acted as a drainage for the street. The only time we got floods, and now my driveway floods all the time, never has in 28 years I've lived there. Now all of a sudden I've got just swamp in the front of my house.
When were the mangroves removed?
About a year and a half ago.
By the existing landowner, do you know?
By the people that are developing the property.
Okay. No, just okay. I'm just right now just asking him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, one, I felt somewhat left in the dark as to what the plans for this building were. It was not asked about either the environmental impact and when they did that, and that's behind us now. I'm not here to address that. We're here to address variances, codes. And two, that those codes are being adhered to. I just need some sort of clarity on any variances that were offered and for what reasons.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Well, before you
yeah,
go,
yeah.
Pat,
Yes.
they're part of the owners right there. Introduce yourself.
Yeah,
I don't know the-
yeah,
We
please.
met
Yes.
briefly when they were doing the environmental impact.
Mhm. Yes,
To clarify 3 quick things. We did meet, I did approach him once. One time it was not a good time. He did not want to speak to me. And then unfortunately, disrespect to him, his daughter confrontationally came up to me after we had removed the mangroves, literally got on my face, being very mean, and Mark and Carolyn can even contest to that because they came out saw me crying. So that is unfortunately why I never went and approached him again, because I actually felt uncomfortable going to the house because his daughter lived there. He's a very nice man. I'd have no problems with him, but his daughter unfortunately got in my face while walking her dog, and I'm not a confrontational person. She was very upset about the mangroves. I tried to explain we had a DEP permit. We did the largest mangrove environmental improvement in all of Palm Beach County and Boynton Beach Park. And most of the mangroves were not alive. Otherwise, we were not allowed to do that. I cannot speak upon all of the project myself, but that's why I did not go back to him personally for more consultation, because I felt uncomfortable with the situation with his daughter. Otherwise, I would have, of course, asked him, but we did ask everyone else and the rest of the cul-de-sac going down and right across from us, just to high level that. So
and again, I think your second question, sir, was that is this application in compliance with the setbacks, with the drainage, with the height? And it's our understanding today, hearing from all the officials, it meets all those requirements. There's no variances that were required here, right? So they're in full compliance with the town code and ordinance.
And I think they're setting back on the side,
We
on the
are.
second floor,
We
which will give a light plane down to the neighbors on either side.
Yeah, that was.
So that was a nice non-required.
And one thing I'd like to highlight while you are here is one thing we did learn from 3 Hudson at the very front top of the street is that they expanded their parking throughout the side. So we're gonna do 3 or 4 big double gates on the front of the property, so more cars can pull directly inside to avoid less cars being parked on the street, which you don't see in a lot of residential new construction homes. So that's something no cars will be in front of your street either. But we're going to be very mindful, adhere all town code. We know the building hours when you can and cannot work. And I'd be happy to have a straight line of communication just with you throughout this entire development to make sure you're happy and comfortable. And if there's ever a day you don't want work done, let's say I'm having family over or barbecue and I want some people to work, I'm being very serious. We did this at 21 Ocean Avenue on the house that we built for the neighbors next door as well. We care about the people we're building next to. We know it's a long-term process and we're sensitive to that. So
Thank you, both.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Any other public comment? Please.
Mission and all.
Good morning.
I'm Mark Galliette. I live across the street at 19 Hudson. And I was referred to by Tricia a couple of times. Carolyn is my wife. Totally unrehearsed comments, but I would like to say that I certainly understand where Patrick is coming from. But I also do want to give Trish and her husband Austin credit for approaching us and other neighbors. I think I'm certainly of the mind that a friendly approach to this development can require some patience on everyone's part, but also result in hopefully the best outcome for all parties involved. I appreciated the offer of the Buttonwoods and appreciate that the rendering showing that has been submitted, and I hope that'll be part of the permanent record so that we can have that kind of privacy barrier for both the occupants and ourselves, because we will look directly across the street. And I think lastly, just want to mention that I joked with Trish when she recently met with us that I realized that the king tides are not the fault of she and her husband, but certainly the king tides are a real issue at that exact point in front of the proposed house to be built, and ours is, I think, we're the low point of the street. And acknowledging that you all on the commission have acknowledged here that Hudson has a flooding problem, and I certainly heard the respectful comment that money's been spent on it. My hope is that as a non-engineer who doesn't necessarily have a full grasp on the interplay of catch basins and backflow prevention, that we can actually have a better situation at the end of the development of this house and building of this house than we currently have. Because it's not just at king tides, it's just even after a heavy rain like yesterday, the road floods completely across from 20 to 19. And there was a picture of our house in on one of the exhibits, and it's just enough water that it will literally impact one's schedule for the day. SUV or not, you're driving through some very, very heavy ponding. So in conclusion, and sorry for the wordiness, the idea is here that I'm hoping that at the conclusion of this home being built and it being addressed during the building, that we can actually improve. I realize we're not going to be lifting the street or doing anything as major as that, but that we can improve the situation through some type of investigation of how these water ponding prevention mechanisms all come into play and have a better situation rather than the current situation, and certainly not a worse situation, because a worse situation is very impalpable.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Do we hear any other public comment? Okay, closing public comment. Board? How do we feel about this?
I think it's very attractively planned. We see a lot of this style of home, but I like the softness of it and the wood touches. I think it looks really good.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to.
Excuse me.
Can you use your microphone, please?
Man,
How long you been doing this?
I know. Well, no, there was a time when we didn't need microphones. I think,
Well, you don't, but it's a.
but that's it. The one thing, this is not about your project, but just generally, is the common wall the retaining wall that you're putting up on this project and is that we're starting to see more and more in the town of these walls. How are we dealing with those common walls? I mean, those are always tricky and is it a foot off? Is it some dimension off of the property line, or is it right on the property line? And, that creates other issues. Are we addressing any of that? I'll look at you, Corey.
Mr. Chairman, that's something that I think our town engineer may need to address. It's not a zoning related issue necessarily.
Okay.
So I'm going to defer to
Orlando, that's a good question. Is it on the property line, a foot off the property line? What is the code? Six inches. Yeah. 6.
We'll have to check the code on that, but like I was saying earlier, if you're installing a fence is going to go right on your property line, a concrete wall of significant width, you're probably going to have to put it right next to your property line, and not into your neighbor's property. Yeah.
Fences are a little different
Yes.
because you can reach through, you could take out a piece, you could,
Yeah.
you're not painting it, you're not, the maintenance is
Yeah.
completely different than a wall.
Right.
So,
Should we ask the applicant? Maybe they have the answer.
Well, I think this is more of, it might be more of a general question.
Manny, did
because
you
if
have,
we don't
did you have a comment to this?
in that respect, but as far as we're on the wall, if there's footers, they're gonna be underground, them footers have got to be inside your property. So usually it's like 6 to 8 inches away from the property when you put up the wall, so they're, it's not encroaching into the other property. That was the question.
Yeah, that was one of the questions.
And the
Right,
other one,
Ken?
Yeah,
What's
so
the
you're,
distance on the
yeah,
property line?
so you're 6 to 8 inches, but that's not really enough to get to the other side of the wall, really, is it?
My husband is messaging me answers right now from home on his computer. Okay, so the front is inside approximately 30 inches. The side is right inside as required and allowed by code as the norm in the town.
That's why I said it's, you know, depending on what our code says, and I think maybe Christie or it should be shipped up to the commission. I think we need to take a look at common walls as more and more are coming up. A lot of other municipalities are starting to think, well, you know, we need to address
Yeah.
common wall issues. Because a lot of issues come about because of that. And painting, and I assume that you're gonna be painting the design of this and of
Yes,
the.
The walls will be the same colors as the house, so everything is synchronous and feels nice and together.
Thank you. Ken, any other comments?
No, thank you. Good job.
Did you make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the submission after I think the only outstanding issue was the artificial turf in the side and the rear yards, waiting for that clarification from the commission.
And pursuant to the updated.
And right, and make sure that the updated renderings do in fact reflect into the plans.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on, next we have the quasi judicial hearing for the development plan review for 5 Sailfish Lane. At this time, any ex parte communication shall be disclosed by identifying the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, or any correspondence be provided to the town clerk and made part of the public record. In addition, each member of the commission may identify the existence of any investigations or site visits he or she has conducted, or any expert opinions received, and disclose any conflicts of interest on this matter. Anything, gentlemen? From that standpoint? No. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Kelly, please swear those in. We're going to be
Anyone
Right, Jess.
wishing to speak on 5 Sailfish, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? When you are called forward, please state your name and address clearly for the record and whether or not you've been sworn in, and please speak directly into the microphone.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Corey, walk us through this application, please.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, Corey O'Gorman, Town Planner. This is the development plan review for 5 Sailfish. This is a new single-family home. 2 stories, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1-car garage, swimming pool, and surface parking. This property is located in the RMM zoning district, and the RMM district refers to RSF for all single family, including all of the design requirements. This home was designed to comply with all of the RSF setbacks, the floor area ratio, the articulation, window and door openings. The one item to point out that is a little different is that for lots that are less than 10,000 square feet, the code allows that the house only provide 1 parking space rather than relating the parking to each bedroom. And in this case, and further clarification, the code doesn't specify if that 1 parking space needs to be an interior garage space or can be a surface parking space. However, in this case, the design provides 1 garage space and provides 3 spaces in the driveway and surface parking area. So there are a total of 4 parking spaces for this house. The project does comply with all of the zoning regulations, the height, setbacks, et cetera. There are a couple minor non-substantive comments, conditions in my review. One for the survey and one for an item of consistency in the land development application. And those can be addressed subsequent to your review. The recommendation is for approval, subject to your review for compliance with the development plan review design requirements and conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. So everything is in compliance in this application?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Town Engineer Orlando, please.
Yes, so we reviewed the responses from the previous consultants' comments. They've addressed all the comments. We've had one minor revision on the drawings on a dimension. They've addressed it. So the property is providing a French drain on the driveway and retention areas in the on-site to meet the county code retention requirement. We don't have anything else for them.
Okay. We didn't see the other engineer's report here, but it's a. Don't think. No,
The other engineer did not have a final report,
did not.
as
have
the other
final.
one did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so whatever they put together before they left. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Manny, morning again.
The applicant's submittal again, under square footage and percentage, does meet the zoning requirements, and I confirmed that with my own calculations and percentages.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. Applicant, please. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Juan Contin. I'm the architect for this house on 5 Sailfish. This is an associate architect.
Fatin Omasawi, I'm the project manager.
We've both been sworn in.
Thank you.
26 South Federal Highway, Lake Worth. This project is a very interesting project in a sense. It's a special lot. It's at 14 feet, much like NGVD, much different from the other houses around in Ocean Ridge, which are at a much lower point. So it kind of enjoys a higher threshold in terms of the flooding issues and everything else. I'd like to mention that the house had been a blighted house for quite some time. We'll show you a picture later, and it's a much smaller house at 2,700 feet. We worked with the staff pretty diligently to not go over any other issues that we might have had that might have needed variances or anything else. But the house itself, we have it so that the front is a little more on a private side, and the back is open up to the gardens. But yet the gardens are still opened up in front, leaving a lot of parking space plus a lot of green space for the neighborhood. Say the next slide, please. Here we are, Sailfish. It's very close to North Ocean. You can see the other lots next to it about the same size. Next, please. This was the house. It had been abandoned for quite a bit. It was in pretty bad shape. Landscape was also not of the best quality. So we thought it would be a big addition and nice addition to the rest of the neighborhood. They have a very different style throughout the neighborhood. There's some modern, there's some more eclectic, and then some different type of styles that wouldn't be classified particularly into one style. Next. Here we are. There's some of them. There's some 2-story ones. There are 1-story ones. There are ones that have been added on to. You could see some that are, I don't know, not as green or as green as some of the other things might have been. So we felt that adding a lot of the green space to the front would have been a big plus for the neighborhood. Next.
I will say, just to add on that, you can keep on this slide. So the property on the left is kind of a weird situation because it's kind of the driveway that you're facing. You're facing the front of the house, but this is the side. If you go back, you can also see it in plan view. So that's what the two-story that you're looking at. On the left, their driveway faces the property. So just kind of giving you, it's a very interesting site in the sense that it's not exactly
It
facing,
has two fronts to a street.
yeah. So with that, with the design, if you keep going, I think we were trying to be respectful with the different heights. It's not a full two-story building. It's separated with the two-story on one side and then a one-story on the other. Yeah.
And then did quite a bit with the landscape. Next one, can you show? Yeah, here it is, it's, first floor plan. It's very much set up on the, 3Ds that you just saw, pool in the back. I'd like to mention that we have full screening on the other street, which you saw to the neighbor. So it'll have, full greenscape to the back and the sides of it. Next slide, please. You can see it here. With the garage and the parking spaces that are provided. Next. There we are there. Next, please. Okay, so we have the living room and the two bedrooms downstairs with the garage, but what the house really tries to do from the interior point of view is to really take advantage of the garden that's wrapped around the rest of the house. Next slide, please. You can start seeing it here. It's very open to the outside. Next slide, please. There we go. So that would be what the neighbors would see. It would be a green space with bushes. Next, and by the pool. Next, please. Okay, the second floor, the master bedroom. And you'll have partial usable terrace on the outside. Next, please. There you see it on the outside there.
Just so we're clear on that whole second floor cannot be used as all usable because there is the code requirement for that. So we do have a railing to show where exactly you can use the space, and then the rest of the space would not be considered.
It's an architectural detail, not necessarily a railing where you see it here. Next. It's top view, and that's where the railing would be where the outdoor terrace would end. Next, please. That's the guest and a little side yard for them. Next. See the pool area. Next. Yeah, and some of the architectural features, the clear lowy glass, the entrance, have an aluminum powder coated fence that designates that entrance where it comes in. You see the smooth stucco vertical banding to give it some detail. And then the aluminum rail with the expanded aluminum bronze colors on the outside, it gives it more of a wood type of feel for color. We have our elevations and all the heights, the restrictions all been met.
And we worked with staff to make sure we meet all the elevation area in terms of proposed glass all around and the banding articulation.
Next, please. Okay, a landscape plan here. We went a little bit above and beyond, I guess, what the landscape requirements would have been. Again, putting out all the landscape that circles the entire house, neighbors. Next, please. Okay. That is our site data calculation, which everything had been met. And the next.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, yeah, sorry. All right. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Well, thank you very much. If that ends your presentation, we'd like to open up to public comment, okay? Thank you. Now I'd like to open up public comment on the applicant, please. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sworn in by Kelly. My name is Elizabeth Sapinski Frazier, and I'm at 7 Sailfish Lane. This is my husband.
Good morning.
This is the first time we are actually seeing the plans for this site. We are unaware that there was gonna be any building until you guys posted something, excuse me, on the lawn. It's been like that for a while now. We are a one-story house. We're in the historic Klein house next door. We've kept that building. That building's been the same for 52 years, since 1952. And looking at these now, I understand everything's within the variances and within the heights and the setbacks. But from what I'm seeing here and what I'm understanding, this becomes very encroaching to our property. I mean, we're very low down. We're further low down on the street, and I don't understand with the railings and the space not used if people are going to be encroaching and looking at on top of our house. And not only that, but my concerns are, as a neighbor, I've not been approached about this whatsoever. We received a letter maybe a week or two ago. My mother is the owner, Yolanda Nargello. We're speaking on her behalf here because we're living in that residence currently. And I feel like it doesn't fit within our street. I mean, the design or anything. And I'm not sure how my other neighbors feel, but now that I know, I'm going to be, I haven't been approached by anybody in whatsoever. So I have some concerns. I'm going to be looking into it and speaking to my neighbors about it, but I'm not entirely comfortable seeing these plans, how close it is encroaching on my property.
Okay.
That's all. Anything to add?
We're home every day.
Yeah.
We building, right
Not
next
building.
door.
We're not building.
Well, we remodeling, doing things at the house. We didn't get to the outside due to the permits.
Mm.
But, actually this summer we should be wrapping it up. And to tear down a historical property and putting that mass, building up is, what's next?
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't fit within our
We
town.
moved over here to go to the beach,
Mhm.
Retire. And here we got a house looking like a library next to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that for the record. Appreciate your time.
That's it.
Okay. We certainly appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. To the east, they're to the east, to the east, 70, yeah, exactly. Is there any other public comment?
I do have a comment that was emailed in.
Can you please read it to
I
the,
sure will. All right, town planning and zoning. I am writing this about the home being built at 5.
who's it from,
Jefferson-
please?
I'm sorry, from Nancy Venezia.
What's her address?
I was getting there, 2 Fayette Drive.
Okay.
I'm an Ocean Ridge homeowner. My address is 2 Fayette Drive, Ocean Ridge, Florida. I am concerned about the town's apparent permitting houses to cover all or most of the lots with non-porous surface, leaving no soil to absorb rainwater, which can subsequently drain into neighboring lots and cause flooding. Other communities restrict a percentage of ground that is allowed to be impermeable to the range of 75%. I believe currently proposed construction adjoining my property in the back presents exactly this issue. I do not understand why this is being allowed. Sincerely, Nancy Venezia.
Great, thank you very much. Any other public comment? Okay, closing public comment. Board, let's talk about this one. This one's a little bit difficult for me, as starting out. I usually ask everyone else to look at it, but when I first saw this on Sunday night, the Stark building right, off the street hit me right in the face. And, we've been together for a few years now. We talk about these kind of, we've seen a lot of different styles, and but to me, this is very was challenging for me to look at the beginning. I'd appreciate the architecture in a lot of ways, but the front and even the back and but the front, I just couldn't get over myself personally, right? And it just doesn't feel in compliance with, or just doesn't feel in common with our neighborhood. So I'll start it out there, and please jump in.
No, I have to agree. I have a.
Microphone, please.
I have a lot. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, I have this. Okay, there's two parts here. There was an intent that, and we appreciate the fact that you want to redevelop the property and make it, and bring in the investment of the property and and making a new structure. At the same time, you know, it has to be in concert with kind of with the community itself. Now, not necessarily, you know, we realize that the older homes, they're going to be replaced over time, just as if they were around the rest of the town. And I knew Vera Klein very well. And just point of information, Vera, she was a watchdog to this town like no other. So has an interesting history, had an interesting history. But regardless of that, the front facade of this, I can't go along with. It just, it's, and I do respect design. I've said that. At the same time, you know, we have some relative design criterias that we've put out there, and, you know, trying to encourage some frontal designs with windows and doors and whatnot. And this doesn't mean anything in my eyes. And I think the community would not be happy with this design. I would just be very blunt about it. Being here long enough, I got a sense of what people would be upset about. No different than the pyramid out front on A1A. No different than the house 25 years ago, 30 years ago on Harbor that was looking like a warehouse that there was a hue and cry. This has the same feel, you know, respectfully, and at least for this community, right? I'm not commenting on your design as far as, you know, I respect it, but for this community, it has that harsh feeling. You don't have a homey feel when you look at this from the street. If I'm correct, that this wall is the front face of the house, right? Is that correct? That's the front face. And then in front of next to that is the garage. So you have a solid massing other than the one side, which is open. But the rest of it is a solid wall that's facing the street. So when you tell me that you have a pleasing for the neighbors on either side, I don't see that, because every day people are going to be passing by this giant wall, what amounts to a giant wall. So is there some way you can soften that look? Is there some way that you can, you know, redevelop that look so that you don't have that?
So I just want to give you a slight correction. So when I was talking about the neighbors, we talked about all the landscape that we were putting around the house. So basically they had a lot of green space to look at. So that's fine. So the front, if you're asking about ways to soften it, it is done, yes, in a bold architectural style, where I've had similar style of things that I've done in Palm Beach, in a couple of other places that have worked this way as well. If it doesn't fit the neighborhood, that's fine. And if you like it softened up, if you're thinking of putting a bunch of windows to just open up the whole front of it, that could be done partially, but I think to open it all up in glass would also be kind of harsh. I mean, partial windows and things like that might be able to, you know, we could run some through there and get some light into the front of it. Yeah, but it's a modernist style building. So what would you think? I mean, given your ideas about the neighborhood and knowing that you've been here quite a bit, what would you think to soften it up would be? Would it be windows? Would it be, I mean,
you know, it's one of those things. I recognize it when I see it.
Yeah.
And this has that issue, right?
To put an angled roof on it?
We're okay. It's even, I'm gonna say just that even the back elevation looks so just
pretty bland.
It's bland.
It's dark.
Yes. Right.
Dark is bland,
Dark.
dark. And I really hate to critique somebody's design. I really hate it. But at the same time, it sticks out to you. I mean, just looking at that, it just stands out. Like there was a giant wall there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's good for the town, and I don't think it's good for the neighborhood to have that. So I mean, how you want to design it is up to you to come back.
Yes.
I can't redesign.
I'm asking you because you've got.
But you have a feel. I mean, look around. Okay, look at the prior rendering.
Right.
That, you know, I mean, it doesn't have to look like that, but at the same time, you could see, I don't think you can go anywhere in town and find stark walls like that in the front. I don't think you could
No,
find
no.
that,
Mhm.
right? So just drive around the town. It's a small town. Just drive around and see what you see, and you'll see that there is
I've driven
a,
around.
there's a feel
Mhm. Right, absolutely.
that's in town, and, you know, we're trying to be open-minded about
I
things, but
understand.
at the same time,
Mhm.
that's like kind of a slap in our face.
Yeah.
Let me be blunt about it. So, I mean, I had the same problem with the Shield had looking at them, like I had a really, I mean, as much as I want to help, fresh designs and, and have difference, because I don't want this necessarily all throughout town either. All this modernistic design. I'd love to see some Key West design, some, hell, even bring back some Tuscany design that went on for a little while. But this constant modern that we're getting there is just, there's just no.
It's almost brutalist.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
just, it looks like looks like poured concrete.
No, well, if, I mean, my issue is, I guess, if you look around, I mean, I've been practicing 35 years, worked all over the place, so I could take a step back, take a look at some of the things that might be important in the town. I still think it's gonna end up being a modernist type of house because that's what the client would like, right?
That's okay.
fine.
That's, we're
That's
okay
fine.
with, we're okay with
That's
that.
fine.
Just
But-
take the industrial look out of it. To
Mhm.
me, it looks like a tilt wall,
Mhm.
industrial building. And I think to me, when I looked at it, the inside, it looked like it was designed from the inside out. That's the way, and it's beautiful inside, and what you've done with the glass and the staircase and opening that up to the
Right.
landscaping you're putting in. But the front elevations, just,
It's done on
I totally
purpose.
agree with what I've heard on this panel, and we don't always agree.
Yeah.
Today, we think we're in concert.
I do agree about the inside. I mean, I do.
Yeah, the
I
inside's
do
cool.
like how you open that up. I mean, that's their own personal living style, but
Right.
I think that looked really nice, but it's just the exterior. If you could
Well, I think
come back with us on something.
I mean, from what I'm hearing on the board, I could see some articulation and some things of loosening up the front facade. The back facade, we could touch up some more things on the back as well. But other than that.
I would dare say that it's putting windows in here and softening up this.
Toughen up. Yeah,
It's not gonna
that's
cut
what
it.
I was going,
Yeah,
saying.
I don't know how everybody
Articulating
else
some
feels.
of the rest of it, because the plainness of it is what I'm hearing over and over. That's a little bit it's just too flat, too plain, right? In a way, too brutal. And I have zero problems articulating a sort of more, how can I say it, animated facade. A facade that might be more, full of windows and have some other things on it.
Just
maybe-
not to place windows. So that's not what we're looking for you to
No,
do.
no,
I think as Ken alluded to earlier, our previous application, which you were, able to see, at least gave a different feeling to the residents. And I think that's what we're looking for here as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's some interesting architecture on that street right now that it's it feels a little more like Key West to me, influence that it's starting to go that way. Obviously, there's some older homes and they will be redeveloped as, that neighborhood goes through its evolution, but this is in contrary to everything I've seen on that street and even what's been put up currently, especially and what's underway.
Right, no, I understand what you're saying, so. Okay, so I could get back on the drawing board on the facade elevations and that's it.
We appreciate it. And just, we're, as I think Ken said, and in certain ways, that is a cool look. And I could see in a lot of communities that would be very nice. It's just not for our community today. Okay.
Do we address the comment or to the second floor? If they're relooking at the house, I think the second floor is compliant. We've heard from the
Yeah.
zoning.
Yes.
There-
Well, the entire building's compliant, right? Sure.
Yeah.
But if you could incorporate, you did hear some feedback from the adjoining property owner. So just be mindful of that too, please, if you would. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to speak to the property owner one way or another. I
Yeah.
just think anybody who has a second floor house, it is above the other. I mean, there's nothing I could,
What is your elevation? What is your,
it's 24 feet.
24 feet? Okay, good.
We're right.
It's
up
just, yeah, we're gonna have those types of issues. I
Yeah,
acknowledge
yeah,
that.
yeah.
there. Yeah, so.
So thank you very
Okay.
much. Appreciate your help. We look forward to seeing you again.
Okay.
Okay, great. Board, any other
Would
comments?
you want a motion of some kind
Yeah,
or?
Let's get a motion. And one other thing that would be helpful is if we could get maybe a time certain to come back, because we've had sort of an issue lately with some that we've continued, that we thought they were going to come back right away at the next meeting with some changes that the board recommended, and we haven't seen them right away. So if we could give them a sort of a deadline to come back with changes
yeah,
that would
come-
work with his schedule,
Yeah.
that
ask
would be helpful.
The owner would like to come back immediately, as soon as possible. So this is kind of on a time crunch, so we'd like to come back as soon as possible. Set
So
the
if-
earliest deadline you want. It's fine.
Yeah, so the next meeting would be next month, but knowing sometimes with design and everything, you can get held up on different issues. Maybe if we gave it to the following meeting as the deadline to come back,
Sure, the May meeting.
the May meeting.
Yep.
That way staff sort of has an idea and can plan accordingly to make sure that it gets in time.
So if they get it in time, then you can come back in April. If not,
Absolutely. Then May.
Then
That should be a problem. And I
Okay.
think,
give you some.
is what you're saying. No problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
some
Thank you.
flexibility.
There's any possibility that we can send you some different sketch of what we can do, so we can get like a pre-approval, that way we can wrap everything up and bring it on, you know, and don't have this like hesitation with the design.
That's kind of what this is.
No, I know, but like before this, the other meeting, we can like email the town and
Well, you can go,
present.
look, you can you can work with the town staff, right, and the town, and the town professionals. And I think they've been listening to what we've been talking about here as well today.
Okay.
We're not allowed to do it.
Yeah, we're not allowed to,
individually.
we're not.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's just kind of
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you for your application, by the way.
Yeah.
We do want you to know, we appreciate it.
Try to work with you the best we can.
Absolutely. Thank you. So we'll close out, the,
Could we just get a motion to continue it to
So
no later than?
move to continue to no later than May.
Seconded.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Commissioner comments?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I think we need to, I'm gonna go back to that common wall thing. I really think we need to take a look at that. Some other municipalities are starting to look at that and think about when they put up these retaining walls and things like that, that it should be off the property line. Because what's happening is you're having getting built in zero lot lines is what's happening.
But unless both property owners are agreeing to it, because then you may want to have a
then they
larger
have a
common,
well, they
larger
have a
you're calling it a common wall. It's not really not a common wall. It's a retaining wall on your property.
But it's a retaining wall on your property, but what's happening is that if there's no room to get to the other side of the wall.
And it's a common
Right, so
wall.
unless there's a common wall easement that's going down. Unless they get with the property owner to the other side and create a common wall easement. So that have access. So how does this other person, so I give you, I mean, there's been stories that
Back-to-back walls
unfortunately
that
been
neither-
involved in them. Where they're hanging, they bring a crane in and try to paint because they're not allowed to go. And then the neighbor complains about going in their airspace and it's just, it can get crazy. So I think we ought to think about
Have
it.
we
as
encouraged
these-
common walls between properties?
I don't,
Listen, when I first, when I made my application, there was a kind of a request in place that we keep hedges. Because hedges allow for wind to come through and there's wind that can circulate still. And we did that instead of building on our eastern boundary. Instead of building a wall, which we were wanting to do we were encouraged to keep, a natural hedge there. And I get it, retaining walls, but retaining walls don't have to be 6 feet high too. The retaining walls we're talking about here can only, Corey, what do they need to be? 2 feet high, 3 feet high? I mean, they're
This
really.
one- this
Yeah,
one was
so
5
it really
feet.
depends on.
That's 5 feet.
the
That's
land.
5 feet. I'm just saying, you don't really need them that high. I mean, the retaining wall we're talking about here is a retaining wall and a privacy wall all in one, right? There's two different areas. If you need a retaining wall, you need a retaining wall. It's a privacy wall. Is that what you're talking? I think.
that turns into a
I
privacy
think
wall.
I think we're seeing more privacy walls and.
It's like the one on Old Ocean, that new house that's going in.
Yes.
That was a beautiful, do you see the finish they put on that?
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the Stoft one.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But it just, I mean, again, I was, that was 10 years ago now, but it was kind of a request that we have a natural hedge to allow air circulation, right?
No,
The
that
breeze coming through
there's no
the
question.
town, and we weren't trying to block that off. And I don't know, and I think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't love it sometimes, would like to have had a retaining wall with these guys, but in the same sense, my neighbors, but it
Yeah, but it was one more a privacy wall versus a retaining
mine
wall.
was a privacy wall.
Yeah, so that's different, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Have we seen any other house with an undeveloped, such a big portion of the lot? Again, today, this house, it was interesting. That whole,
I mean, it's just a vacant lot.
no, the back.
It wasn't
Oh, they
fully,
Third,
it
the back
wasn't
third,
fully
the back.
covered.
But are they still there?
So I think there's a protected portion of it, right? 75 feet or so that's protected behind the house.
They just had to clear out the dead, I guess they got a permit to clear out the dead,
Yeah.
house, he was saying.
So going back to this retaining wall, why wouldn't we encourage the applicant to meet with their neighbor to see about doing one wall? Because having two walls with, I don't know, a foot or two in between is I think silly.
Well, that
And it's gonna cause problems
Right,
over
can't
which
maintain
you've
either.
already experienced, right? Through, other.
No,
That's really hard.
permission to painting that wall.
Yeah, right.
know, from
And
who's-
and what's gonna be able to go through there other than
No,
animals and vermin,
Well,
right?
no,
I mean,
it's an issue that a lot of towns are starting to pick up on and has. So I'm just saying, I think we
Christie, what do you
have to
see?
be cognizant of
Are
that.
you seeing anything in this area, any other,
I haven't looked into this issue yet, and I haven't had any experience with it, but if you want, we could then ask the town commission for direction to allow the P and Z commission to explore this issue, and we can do some research between Corey and I and maybe find some, if anyone's had a recent ordinance on this, take a look at it.
how are things going, if we could switch gears real quick on the artificial grass in the state?
It's still in the proposed rule situation. The town commission decided to table it until we can finally get those actual rules in place and really look at the ordinance from a, holistic comparing to DEP's regulations. So that's what we're just waiting for, like
Okay.
every other city, pretty much.
I was recently in a backyard of a house in Ocean Ridge, and their color of grass they chose was very appropriate for today. Lime green.
There you go.
All right, it'll fade.
No.
Stuff doesn't fade.
One Kelly.
Very bright.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be judgmental on that stuff.
No, but if we're gonna allow it in the fronts of houses, we should look at that. 'Cause some of the colors they have available are just
I didn't even think about that.
not natural.
So we should have an approved color palette of artificial, seriously.
So you have to find a natural grass that's the same as a natural grass. You have to, when you present it, here's my artificial turf and here's the grass that it's
You're
going to
right, they all
emulate.
look different.
Because some colors are.
Some are, just a lot different.
So I know we're also seeing, especially with these tighter lots of, Douglas and Sailfish, Fayette, and some of these homes down there, these little side things that they're putting on. We saw an example of that today. I'm not commenting on that 'cause I'm not bringing that up, but just as an example, if there's a side sliding glass door and a little patio, you're right on the neighbors. So if you're sitting out there, you're sitting here, the conversation, and that's one reason why we have setbacks. Is to give a little space so that we don't have that. And I'm seeing the encroachment of those spaces, and maybe we need to address it on those properties in that zone, if you will, if we're having that type of issue. But I think we ought to be cognizant of that, because that's gonna also be a problem.
Back to was that house close on impervious that they chose to have the artificial turf all the way around the pool? And no deck?
I'm sorry. Was it,
There was 20 houses.
20 Hudson,
I think they're all pervious now. Right?
even the deck, even the hard deck is called.
Oh, I don't know about the hard deck.
That's because were they close that they chose to have the artificial turf around the pool and then later coming at?
Actually, that one, remember that 20 Hudson has that large rear yard, so in terms.
Not close.
Not even.
So they could come and
Yeah,
change their mind and put a deck around their pool.
Yeah, they're at a total of just under 40% impervious. So they're allowed, it's a minimum of 30% 30% pervious.
So the artificial turf that's going in, that's totally, is any portion of that count as pervious? Nothing,
I don't think so from a drainage perspective, right? No.
because there is artificial turf that is pervious.
Yes.
Do we, that's a good question. Do we require pervious
Well,
artificial
working on it.
turf?
Is that a misnomer?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I'm actually working on a project for a client that is using artificial turf in their playground. And they did soil testing and analyzed the turf in relationship to the soil, and the turf is actually more pervious than the soil. So just as an example.
I would imagine that's why that's one of the reasons they might. be
It's
encouraging
sand
that.
base. They now pack compact.
It may
sand.
be, yeah.
Okay.
It was nice to hear that also the presentation on 20 Hudson, that we looked at your your penetrations and your fenestration, and we wanted to, so the word is out.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Adjourning the meeting, Town of Ocean Ridge Planning and Zoning, March 17, 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good job.